Namaste and welcome to Magic Vibrations Healing School. My name is Demian Haye, and today I would like to speak about healing and the healing sessions that I am giving one-on-one, online or in person. So healing is something really deep and really complex, and now that it's more than 20 years that I give personal private healing sessions, I really realized that you have many layers to it, and I just wanted to speak about it and to explain what we can do in private healing sessions. So recently I did upgrade my healing tools and my capacity to channel divine healing energy, and it was with a lineage called Merlin's lineage, or Vortex Healing Divine Energy. And I start to reach the higher level of this lineage, and I really realize how powerful it is, but as well how complex and intricate is the human anatomy, the human consciousness, the human psyche. So I wanted to speak about healing sessions because I just wanted to bring it back in a really realistic way. We all noticed that we do work on ourselves or with healers, and we feel better and there is a movement, and then many times the same pattern, well, they come back. Sometimes we have few months off, and then we just feel a change, and we retrospectively look at our life and we see, oh yeah, this pattern just came back. Why? Well, because the energetic anatomy of human consciousness is really complex. It has so many different layers. It has so many dimensions, levels, that to really transform or release a pattern or a belief or a trauma, well, we really need to look for it at all levels of consciousness. And I'm not just speaking about energetic bodies like the etheric, emotional, mental, spiritual bodies, or the chakras. This is like 1% of the whole complexity of who we are. And with these tools in the Vortex Healing Divine Energy lineage, well, we can reach all these levels. It's just that it takes time. So I just wanted to explain that when we do private healing work, well, if you target just one session, then we can create a movement there, a noticeable movement, something that will benefit you. And in 1.5 hours of, let's say, healing work, we can definitely create a movement, and then this movement creates momentum, and this momentum, well, you can use it to keep on transforming and releasing and integrating. But if you really want to get rid of something like a core pattern or a core emotional position or a core wound, well, honestly, you will need more than one session. The good news is that if you do enough work, it's possible to release it completely from our entire energetic system. And it's not that we can get 100%, but we can get really enough so that we don't experience this anymore. But it will take more work. So the way that this healing work is that there's a part where, of course, we have to prepare your system. And preparing the system means, to relax, to energize, and, to make sure that the hardware of your energetic anatomy, well, is actually functional, right? Sometimes we have damaged pathways. Sometimes we have damaged Jinshin nodes. And so the hardware doesn't work, and the body cannot actually co-regulate itself. So we need to address this first. Sometimes the webbing of our energetic field is damaged, and it needs to be repaired as well. And we also need to energize a lot the system, because you need energy to create movement. So if your system is depleted, well, you cannot heal. So that's why we prepare the system. Relaxation, checking that everything works, and energizing. A big part of the healing is actually in this lineage to awaken our identities. So we have different parts and identities within us, and these parts sometimes they hide or they go dormant, or they're in a blind spot, and we in denial about them. We don't want to feel, to see them. We deny them the right to speak. And we all know that this is true for most of us with our darkest parts. Well, we need them to wake them up. And what does it mean? It's not only to put them online, it's to remind them of their own divine origin so that they can reconnect to love and that they can reconnect to divine healing consciousness so that they can transform and release this sense of separation. And once we awaken all these parts, which can take some time because you have identities in your general consciousness, but you have them as well in your multidimensional personality, you have them at a genetic, ancestral level, interdimensional level. You have so many aspects to awaken. And once you awaken them, well, then there is the whole release work, right? Where we can either create a general release, or we can go, step by step, in depth, in each and every aspect, corners, levels, layers of your consciousness. And that will take more time, obviously, than just to create a general release. And after this release, well, there is the whole recreating blueprints, bringing new, qualities, energies, beliefs, and as well, integrating. Integrating is as well essential to healing work, right? And so we need to spend some time to help you integrate whatever release or movement occurred in the session. So what can we work on? Well, we can work on literally everything. So you can work on any issue. Yeah. So when we do private healing work, well, we spend some time to chat, to identify what's going on in your life. Maybe you're aware of it, maybe not, and then we work together through questions, answers, digging to actually understand what is going on and what is the most beneficial for you to work with. Well, now every issue that you have, every condition, if it's physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, shit happening in your life, well, it's more complex than just one issue, right? It has many different threads, many different layers. It's entangled. And we spend some time to disentangle all this mess, to understand, what are the different energies at play, the different emotions, the different beliefs. And then we take some time to identify which one is the most important to start with. And, each thread, well, will take some time to work on if you already want to clear completely this issue. So issues, well, the classic issues, control, shame, anger, self-worth, self-love, betrayal, humiliation, the fears, rejection, all these common issues that we all share, feeling inadequate and so on. So we can work on these issues, but they are multi-layered, they are multi-dimensional, so it's not a quick fix. I realize after all these years that nothing can be a quick fix if you truly want a real release, a real deep transformation in your life. But it's not also that it has to take years of psychotherapy, right? In a couple of sessions, we can truly create a deep, long-lasting movement according to any issue. The issues can be physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. They can be literally anything. But again, we need to disentangle them to understand what is actually going on and how we're going to address it in the most efficient way to create the most beneficial movement. I wanted to give you also some ideas of what kind of specific things we can work on in these private sessions, right? So let me give you some ideas. A great work to do is to work also on our physical anatomy and energetic system. So the brain and the nervous system, they are so important, right? The way we deal with stress, the way our brain operates as, the computer that directs how our body responds to our environment and our lifestyle. So deep work on the brain and nervous system. We can spend sessions on it and already optimize your brain. So if you had concussions, if you had accidents, if you feel foggy, ADHD, if there are memory issues, if you sense that something is not working, functioning well in your body, probably work on your brain and nervous system is amazing. As well, we can work on the Jin-Shin system. So it's an ancient medical Chinese, healing system that is not about the chi and the meridian. It's something that is way deeper. And without going much into details, well, it's really important that your Jin-Shin circuits and nodes work well if you want to co-regulate your system. And we can as well work on this. We also, can work on the hardware. Yeah, again, repairing damaged pathways, damaged webbing, making sure that all the main energetic circuits are actually working. And sometimes they are shut down, sometimes they are broken or torn apart, and we can repair them, and this is essential. We also have functional centers, for our physical, emotional, mental bodies, as well for personality, for our brain. And this is, the whole manager of this entire aspect of our consciousness, that we can make sure that they function to an optimal level. Of course, we can work as well on a relationship, huge protocols really deep with our mom and our dad, or if you are in a relationship, we can work with active relationships, your partners, or past relationships, like breakups. We can work on a relationship with life, with the feminine, the masculine, with money, relationship with the elements. You have so many relationships that we can work on. And there are extended protocols to really clear and harmonize our relationship with life or any of its aspects. At a physical level, well, of course, we can as well work on infections and inflammation. And, we can energetically support the body to heal any kind of infections, including specific protocols for Lyme disease, really difficult to deal with, Candida, herpes, which are really, long-lasting and difficult, conditions to deal with. And we can definitely support this energetically. Another great aspect to work on is the genetic, right? So with this modality, we can create genetic modifications on your DNA consciousness. So we don't change and transform the physical DNA. That's not possible with, energy work. But the imprints, the informational field, and the energy consciousness field of the DNA can be transformed. So if you are aware that you have any genetic, condition, or that you see that something that you experience while your parents and grandparents as well experienced it, well, a genetic modification can really help your system to become more free to co-regulate. And this can be done in private remote session as well. And every modification addresses one specific aspect, either of your physical body, or, sometimes it's about a really specific aspect of your consciousness. We can work as well on ancestral work, right? Ancestral consciousness, which, you can think it's genetic, but it's much more than this. It's what you inherited from your lineage at an emotional, mental, and spiritual level. So we can clear all these ancestral aspects of who you are. Of course, we can work on addictions, and we don't work on addictions as, the addiction itself. We can work on it because addiction is something that we avoid. So we can target what is avoided by indulging in the addiction and release it, so that actually the root cause of the addiction is cleared eventually, so that naturally it becomes easier to drop whatever addictions. And of course, to support the energetic system to recover, mostly the nervous system, the lymphatic system, and the organs that were impacted, to bring them to an optimal state of, functioning and health. We can as well work on dissociation. Yes, so many times people are dissociated. Most of us, we are dissociated at some level because of trauma. And this work to reconnect to different parts of our consciousness and unify it in an homogeneous field, it's so important for our mental health and as well emotional and physical health. I have as well specific protocols to work with electromagnetic sensitivity, when people are really sensitive to radiations, Wi-Fi, and so on. To work on clearing toxicity, specifically, heavy metals and different toxins in the system that energetically we can actually support your body to release them. We can work on, the way that your sexual energy is backed up in your kidneys, or how to harmonize your sexual energy, because many times it's out of control or out of balance. Treatments for dyslexia to support, and avoid dementia or Alzheimer, or to work more on the memory. Protocols to work on organs. If you know that one of your organ or body system is weak, well, we can work a couple of sessions just to optimize it fully so that it can be restored to optimal health. And you have many other, things we can do with this modality, and I just wanted to give you some ideas of the diversity of the issues that can be addressed. Yeah, it can be anything physical. If you have an acute or chronic condition or autoimmune condition, we can help with this modality in private healing sessions. Yeah, of course, if you need as well medical care and to go to see a doctor, you do it, right? Because it's not that it replaces the normal medical establishment and allopathic medicine. It supports your system to heal. And whatever you need to do as surgery or allopathic treatments, you as well do them. And together, it facilitates the most optimal result in your healing journey. Now, emotionally, it's extremely efficient. Like to clear any repressed emotions or emotional position or emotional trauma. And the way that we relate with the world is extremely emotional. Mentally, well, all your beliefs, programs that are hindering or sabotaging your life can be cleared as well. And spiritually, well, in the higher level of dimensional consciousness, there is so much work that can be done as well. So I just wanted to give you this overview of how these healing sessions work. Again, let me be here already realistic. If you just want one healing session, we can create a movement. This movement will allow you to get out of stuckness, of immobility, stillness, and will create momentum that you can use by yourself with your own tools to go further and surf the wave, so to speak, so that you can go out of this feeling of getting stuck to the next step. If you truly want to get rid of a pattern, or you want to free yourself from a specific frequency that is interwoven, intricated, that is so deep in your system since so many years, it will require a couple of sessions, just with the same theme, the same issue. When I work on myself, I can do 7 healing sessions just on one theme, and in these sessions I will address something different every time. But then I get all the nooks and crannies of this issue, wherever it sits in my system or my consciousness. And I already feel different after, and I already feel free. And what I observe is that, it's done. It doesn't come back. And as I am more free from it, then I can choose love. I can choose health. I can choose harmony. I can choose compassion. I can choose, something that I am at the core of my being, and we are all the same at the core, right? We are love. Of course, you are a unique expression of love with different qualities of love. But to go back to the love, we need to let go and to release all these shades and aspects of separation. So this is what we can do in this healing session, and I just wanted to bring it to your awareness that there are no quick fixes. Yeah, so any quick healing, and I did it for so many years, believing that to create a quantum shift and leap would be actually sustainable. Well, I observe that most of the time it's not. If you are truly ready, yes, a quantum leap can take you out into a new pattern, but then to sustain this change, this transformation on the long term, you really need to clear this issue everywhere in your system, or at already deep levels in your system, so that it doesn't come back, and so that you can actually truly come closer to the sense of freedom. Well, I hope that was informative. If you want to reach out for private sessions, you can contact me, and we can see what do you need and how to work on it. Thank you.